Welcome everyone to another summer training vlog. Today is a hybrid day. So earlier today I went to the track and I got my speed session in from day 4, and now we're back in the garage to get day 5 in for our lower body lift. So ideally these are separate days based on the week I had and just kind of life, not sleeping great Sunday night, taking Monday off. It is what it is, right? So we're gonna try to get it done today. Already got our speed session done. Super windy at the track today, so the mic session is just not worth it. So what I'm going to do is actually take the speed session, put it on the back of today's vlog, and just give you like a little bit of like clip montage with some music over it, just so you guys can see what we did. Today was a little bit different in our track. Again, this is the first week of our phase 2. So drills, then we had some sub-max 20-yard fly-ins, and then we had another 20-yard fly-in, and this one was trying to be all out. With that, we had it timed, and we were using the Fire Pod today. I want to give it another session or two of using it just to make sure, like, setup-wise, configuration, I'm not doing anything wrong before I kind of give you guys a little bit of, like, my thoughts on it, how it compares to the timing gates, what I like and not like about it. But for today, the vlog's going to start off today in the garage. So today's our lower body isometric day. We've got a little bit of a isometric power complex where we're going to be doing some trap bar jumps supersetted with seated broad jumps. We're going to be using tape measure just to kind of see our distance and just keep track of like improvements. Are we super fatigued today? And just finding a way to kind of track this a little bit better than just arbitrarily like setting the box up. That seems far enough and jumping. We got some overcoming isos today, which we're going to be using the force plates with. So finding a way of quantifying our overcoming isos and making sure that we're progressing week from week on those. And then just 2 accessories, and that's it. We're out for today. So today's lift session shouldn't be too long. But yeah, we're going to get it going. We're still warm from the track. I literally just got back, set up some stuff, popped open the camera. So we're just going to get right into this for the trap bar jumps. We're starting right out the gate, 95 pounds, 3 jumps, right into our broad jumps. For this first set of seated broad jumps, we got the box, end of the box right at 7 foot. I know my feet are technically ahead of that, but just for easier measurements, kind of keeping it consistent, I'm always measuring from where the edge of the box is sitting on the tape measure. Like that. Scoot it back a little bit for our next couple sets till we either are not getting to the 2 mats over there or we just knock out all our sets. For set 2, we moved it back like 3.5 inches. So we're looking at 7.3.5 right now. Might scoot it back just a little bit for our 3rd set and try to stick it there for our 4th set. Third set, we've scooted it back to 7.5. See how these go. Ooh, sketchy. I'm gonna take it. A little bit falling back, but was able to land feet on I'm gonna take it for today. We're gonna go one more set. We're gonna leave it at the 7.5, see if we can't get better on the last one. Last set for these seated rocking broad jumps. We're gonna go 7.5 again, trying to be a little more consistent, trying to get a little bit more power out of these, sticking on the box. Ah. Ah. I want to go one more. One more. I didn't like the first one. Sometimes you gotta go off program. All right, so 7.5 is where we're gonna keep it. Next week we're gonna stay at 7.5, see if we can't be more consistent with it and kind of see how we progress over the next 3 weeks of this training. So for today's lower body strength movement, we're gonna be doing an overcoming ISO using the safety squat bar in a split squat position. So kind of have set this up 2 different ways so far before kind of hitting record and gonna show you guys it. I'm not sure this is the setup I wanna have moving forward, but for today, it's gonna work, it's gonna be fine. So we've got the force plate set up, we're gonna do a right and left, and basically what we're gonna be looking at is peak force and time to peak force, right to left on this. So there's no weight on the safety squat bar, so it's just the 60 pounds that the bar weighs, and we're just trying to create as much force as we can into the top safeties. Rack's not gonna go anywhere, and then force plates are basically gonna how we gauge how well we did today, for lack of a better word. So excited to kind of try this out. I think conceptually there's something here, and I'm gonna be excited to play around with it. I think it's just the setup of how I'm doing it is just gonna be what we kind of play with either after these 4 weeks, because once I get this together, I wanna keep it the same. That way kind of testing and just like the numbers are as valid and reliable as possible. But moving forward, if I do kind of add this to another phase of training, possibly look at it with any of my athletes, I wanna be able to kind of have a better way that I know, like, all right, this is the setup I'm looking for. So let's give it a shot. We got 3 sets. We're gonna try to get a 5-second max effort on each leg, and then probably a good 2 or 3 minutes in between. All right, so right leg, first attempt, we have 1,466 newtons. And an invalid quiet stand on the last one. So with these, the setup is obviously the hardest of trying to, I don't want to be kneeling on the other plate. I want to be in a good split squat position. I'm also trying to look at this from our weakest position, so trying to be kind of in that bottom position as I can be. All right, let's see how these next couple sets go. So definitely trying to get set up on these, trying to feel like I'm in a good split squat position and then pushing straight up into the bars. It seems like when I'm on the other ones, I'm trying to push more outside. So trying to think about being more up and down so that way I can stay stacked, but both those were like 1300s. So honestly, they weren't too far off from one another. And then the setup, we can argue all day about, all right, are we really getting our true highest output based on the setup? But again, there's something fun that I'm going to keep playing around with and kind of see just how training affects it over these next couple weeks. For that last set, I kind of switched up my foot positioning a little bit better, trying to get into a better like start position. How is that going to look? Am I going to be more upright? Again, when I look back at this video, I might think I'm still too far over, so we'll see what it actually looks like when I'm editing it up. Maybe I'll add a commentary in there of how much it really was actually terrible. But for the last one, right leg, we had 1372 newtons. And our right leg, 1413. So I think the last one was definitely the best one of the three. Definitely an exercise I want to keep playing around with and just seeing how we progress week to week on it, and just how do I find better setups for it. I think obviously if I started from a higher position, more like a mid-range, would definitely clean up some stuff, but really trying to see is like, all right, what's the lowest I can get to and still being able to like produce that force up. And then also the distance between the two safeties, I wish I could kind of put it into the last hole and just give me a little bit shorter range of motion from the top to the bottom, but that's kind of what we're working with until I think of a better way to set up something for like an overcoming. Last thing we got today is spring ankles level 2. So we're going to be a little bit higher up in that position on the spring ankle. Really trying to think of ways to overload this. So I thought high on the safety squat bar. That way it can just rest on my shoulders. I can kind of use my hands just for a little bit of balance, keeping either on the racks or the bottom of the safeties. For this, we're just trying to go for max time that we can get on these. All right, so counting in my head, roughly got to 25 seconds on each side. That was gnarly. That was something I've never felt before going through spring ankles. So definitely excited to kind of see how this progresses week from week. Guys, last thing we're gonna do is just kind of show you those clips of our track session day with some music overlaid. If you like today's training, you wanna know more about it, you got questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll answer everything that comes through. Until next time, have a good one.
Let me show you